Hey, hey. Hi, guys. Welcome back. All right, Cancerians, happy Tuesday. So let's get into a Cancerian storyline. We're going to do just a question about what the universe might encourage Cancer to consider in regards to love. And we have the stormy sea with the yin yang symbol and then shifting into kind of like Monet's water lily painting. So we've got the full expanse of, you know, uh, turmoil to like finding balance so things don't get too dull and stagnant nor too tumultuous, but somewhere in between is maybe the sweet spot. Now, this is about the Eight of Cups. So it can be the reason a character walked away from a connection, could have been to establish inner peace, inner harmony, inner balance. 11-8. You did, love. Thanks for being here. Really great to catch you. Hi, Nikki O. And we're doubling down on the eights tonight. Okay, so this actually suggests, and by the way, just full disclosure, guys, all of the other zodiacs that I've done, man, am I getting hate on this series. I don't know what is so upsetting on this series, but I'm getting so much rage for these particular messages, which I'm only saying it because I'll probably get it here too. But I don't pick the cards. Whatever shuffles out, shuffles out. But the encouragement here is perhaps for a little self-check for Cancerian. What would Cancerian benefit from working on? In this case, it's finding the emotional balance between, what is the thing that pisses a character off so much or hurts a character to the extent where they go, I'm out of here, I'm done, I'm leaving, I'm walking away, or where is a hurt or a pain that could make a character say, I'm going to stay and put up with absolutely nothing because I'm wounded in another way. I stay or I go depending upon the whatever the trigger may be. And this says to work through any potential trigger so that a character, if they're going to walk away, they walk away for the right reason, not because they got triggered. If they're going to stay, they stay for the right reason, not because they're saying, well, I guess this is my lot in life, this is what I got to deal with. And I think that's just an awesome message, honestly, for anyone to do that self-check. Sorry, something just bit my shoulder. And I'm looking at a card that has spiders on it. And so I'm like, spiders. 11-8, you sweetheart. You're so sweet. You're my hero. You doll. Thank you. Thank you for all of your wit, your wisdom, and your generosity. You're so kind. But this comes across like in that gentle encouragement for a character to get balanced in this way, or work on that if they discover, oh yeah, there is some kind of thing that maybe I could flesh out, or maybe something I could leave behind. You notice that we actually have this tree of life, but it looks kind of like nobody's been tending to it for a long time. It's kind of a winter scene, so there's no leaves on it, but there's a whole bunch of spider webs. It's like dream catchers and the dreams haven't come true, but maybe it's because our character either should have not wasted their time once in a while and they should have walked away sooner, or they should have walked away in peace instead of walked away pissed because of an experience that they went through. It just says, here's our magic red carpet. Our Cancerian gets to do things different from here on out, but probably nothing ever changes unless we assess and address what happened in the past. How would I do it different? How can I do things differently as I move forward? And it's a really nice energy, actually, with the double eights. We're actually getting a lot of stability for our character, even though the message from the universe is contemplate why we do the things we do, leave things for the right reasons, not because we're triggered, not because we're hurt, but because we go, that actually crossed a boundary. I may be triggered and hurt, but the reason I'm walking away is not for an emotional outburst. I'm walking away because why did that upset me? Where does that trigger come from? Oh, because that's fucking wrong and I'm not putting up with that. And I promised myself I won't tolerate certain things anymore. Or by contrast, saying, okay, I am triggered, but that's because of something else that I dealt with that is reminding me of, and it's not exactly what just happened. It's the memory of something else. As long as our character makes decisions based off of like the introspective facts, then they won't miss out on opportunities or squander any precious time or accept far less than what they're worth, you know? And I think that the universe is always going to try to like encourage a character to use their powers of contemplation, not to bog themselves down, but to make sure that they can do what's right for themselves for the right reasons, so that they can not look back and question or wonder, why did I do what I did? Because I think our character is headed into a time of great stability, but this is just that little contemplative thing before they go into a romance. We've got a Knight of Wands sideways. A question of fidelity could have been what's been at the heart of romance as a whole. And I would say it this way: anyone who's ever been cheated on, once you go through an experience like that, you can say, oh yeah, that person, they did that because they had problems. And it's like, you can identify it, and darn well that of course it's a them problem. It's never a you problem. If somebody cheats, it's because they want to hold on to you, but they also need something else because they've got the issue. It's never the person who's getting cheated on, right? If they didn't want to be with you, they would have closed the chapter. But no, they want you and they want somebody else at the same time because it's a them issue. And although it's rational and reasonable, and you can say, yeah, I know that, still, I think it's harder to not be forever petrified in the back of one's mind, like, yikes, is this what everybody does? And it can set that precedence of fear. And this is the time to say, of course, not everybody does that. And of course, that doesn't have to be something that's always lurking, like the boogie monster, in the closet, that worry. And this is sideways. So it says that the worry hasn't been vanquished, but this is the encouragement. In no way, shape, or form. Please remember, these are fictional stories, but in this storyline, we have a Cancerian that is gently being encouraged to not let question marks of fidelity and truth and honor and security taint any successive relationships, especially if they already went down that road or had a terrible experience with that at some point, because that's definitely not something that everybody is going to have to experience or every partner is going to potentially do. So I think that makes sense to clear out that worry, because otherwise it would be like, man, is it even worth it to get into a relationship if always in the back of my mind I'm like, yeah, but they could cheat at any moment. If that's one of the triggers for this character, it's like, well, that doesn't sound like a very good time to live in a constant state of, oh, it's great, I love them, but what if they cheat? And so I think that that's what this is gently encouraging, is to get that energy like swept on out, acknowledge it if that's what needs to happen, and then sweep it on out of the way. We have a Seven of Wands, which is the obstacle, but sometimes a character doesn't know what the obstacle is that they've been troubled by, or that has been, at the deep down, I'll say core issue in regards to love. This is the eureka moment of like, aha, oh yeah, that maybe was a concern that I had somewhere in the depths of my mind. Okay, drag it out into the light, shine the flashlight on it, and not let that be the thing that always makes me want to walk away. The, one tiny red flag that then I extrapolate and say, oh my God, I remember an ex did that, and then it turned out they were cheating. Not everything is going to follow the same pattern. And I'm wondering if our character almost got to the point where they're like, yeah, I'd like to have a relationship, but you know what? It's too fucking hard. And I always wind up having to walk. And maybe this is perhaps part of the reason why, because it's better than having to go through all that again. Decoded, thank you so much, you sweetheart. You're so awesome. Thank you. You're so generous. I know, it just looks like our character is having that mindset shift, that awareness now. And that is going to be the breakthrough moment where it's like, oh yeah, love doesn't have to be a crazy, insane roller coaster of fears and traumas and emotions and constant, triggering and constant distress. In fact, it shouldn't be that, right? It should be stronger and more stabilizing. So I think that's the nice encouragement on this. Okay, universe, why are we prepping our character for this? Oh, we have the Emperor in the reverse. I'm not trying to say because we should point at somebody, say that they're a villain, but that's exactly what I'm going to say. Because somebody was a jerk, Okay, an Emperor in the reverse is straight up tyrannical, selfish. I mean, all of their beautiful traits get twisted and become awful. And so if an Emperor is four kings all rolled into one, imagine when you got four kings worth of, like negative energy coming at you, Instead of being generous, they're selfish. Instead of being open-hearted, they manipulate emotions. Instead of being heart-centered and loving, they literally are ice cold. Instead of being fair and balanced and communicative, they give silent treatment and they withhold information to punish. That's what we're talking about. If our poor Cancerian knew an experience like this, they basically knew the worst of the worst. And if that's unfortunately what they had, established in their brain, like, ooh, love is like, it's petulant and it's mean spirited and it's awful. In this storyline, oh my God, I can't believe I'm saying these. These are some of the worst cards, but also maybe a good straightforward blunt message. It's not that love is like this, is that this person was like this. So, it's the player, not the game, that was the problem. And if our character can identify love is not the roller coaster, this freaking person that I dealt with, they were the source of all that conflict. Put the blame where it belongs and just say they had problems, man. They had big old problems, but it's not love that's the problem. And it's not me being able to be successful in love that's the problem or the thing that I can't do. It's that I was with someone that I couldn't have had that success with because they were the problem. I know it's very one-sided, but that is how it is sometimes. So I think that the sooner our character just like lands on it and says, yeah, that's how am I supposed to work with an Emperor in the reverse? And I'm sorry, I'm not even going to try to say, well, maybe Cancerian could have like facilitated this or that. No. No. This Emperor in the reverse needs to go off and do their work on themselves. And Cancerian, at least in this story, it is very one-sided. This Cancerian needs to not have to stress out about thinking that that was an example of love, because it was not an example of love. They were with somebody and maybe this person said, oh, I love you, Cancerian, but they sure as hell didn't show it. They didn't show any of the signs that you would expect to receive of love. So no wonder it would have been a head trip. But I also see why it's so important to clear this out. And like I say, it's not really to point the blame finger at this character, other than to identify the core of the problem. And now we backtrack and we go, well, no wonder Cancerian was like, I seriously just want to run sometimes when I get into a relationship and I can see these red flags and I think somebody's not truthful and I think they might be a cheat. It went even deeper than that. They were dealing with somebody who had a bunch of problems and was very, very selfish. And I think that's why we've kind of been like leading up to being able to just identify, aha, that's what was wrong with love, is I wasn't dealing with somebody who was able to love. Okay, whew, that feels so cathartic. I feel like we just like, if you've ever eaten like bad seafood or something, and once it's out of your gut, you feel so much better. But man, when it's swishing around in your belly, you got a belly full of hell. Okay, so we have the High Priestess now. The energy is changing. The energy is so much more peaceful, so much more like emotionally and spiritually attuned, so much more, I know, it just feels like Cancerian has reached a point where they can trust their intuition to the extent where, okay, Cancerian may still have that Emperor in the reverse haunting them. And they may actually know that. They may know deep down that that Emperor in the reverse, for as toxic as they were, for as selfish as they were, some part of them really loved the light that was in Cancerian. And I think it's time for Cancerian to acknowledge that part also, is what this is saying. Cancerian's kindness, their sensitivity, their intuitive energy is exactly why that kind of like little energy vampire was attracted to them and continues to be. It's like if in another lifetime, or if somewhere down the road this person could work on themselves and become a better version, they, in their twisted up way, they do love Cancerian. That's what it says here. In their messed up, mixed up inability to love, there is something that keeps them very drawn to Cancerian. However, this is a Seven of Swords, so it says, But that's the lie. If they think that this is what love is, maybe it was more like possession. You know, they wanted to possess this amazing Cancerian who made them feel good. You know, the same way if you have a really comfortable chair, you're like, I don't want that amazing chair to ever be sold at a garage sale, or, you know, when I move, that chair goes with me everywhere I go. That's not love. That's wanting something that gives you comfort. And so Cancerian might be saying, in their twisted up mind, they think that's love. And I know they're still attached to me because I know I made them feel better somehow. I was a balm to them. And I know they still hover around. But that's not the same as them wanting me back because they're a changed individual and they're going to give me this kind of love and they're able to love me right. And that just feels like, I don't think Cancerian needs to be reminded of that. It looks like they know. They know. Inspiration of Pentacles. Decoded, you have no idea how appropriate that was. The winds of change. This is exactly what we see. We've got Inspiration of Pentacles, which is turning the next page in the book. Here we go. Winds of change are here. We see the new energy. We see the new, I think Cancerian's having this massive breakthrough. Again, I'm just going to say it this way. Cancerian is identifying what they knew in their subconscious all along, which is love shouldn't have felt like that. They were dealing with somebody that was pretty broken, and that person may not be unbroken and they may never get unbroken, but they will always still want the light that Cancer possesses. However, Cancerian is wise to this now. They can turn over the page. And when you turn a page, it's like, you don't need to reread that. You don't need to relearn what already happened. And there's not usually like a huge emotional charge around it anymore because you turned the page. It's not part of your present nor your future. It was a lesson of the past. So I really think that this is probably the nicest energy for such a difficult, tangled up thought process, to be able to work through it now and to see Cancerian done working through it. And they're on to the next chapter. We have the Five of Pentacles. Likely, Cancerian's always going to be a light in this world, and they very well may end up gravitating in this storyline. They may have a tendency to gravitate toward individuals who are in a lack mentality or who need light in their life. Now, that doesn't have to be a bad thing as long as they have something to contribute and as long as they're not another energy vampire. My fear right now is that Cancerian might encounter another person that could be somewhat similar to the individual of the past. But remember, this is a new Cancerian, new day, new everything, and how they're going to handle stuff. If they immediately meet another person who is hungry for their light, Cancerian might be able to say, I can smell their broken heart. We got a Three of Swords. I can see their hunger. I can see that they need somebody to make them feel good. If they're too broken, they need to go heal on their own. I can't let them in. Ten of Pentacles in the reverse. If they aren't capable of giving to me, then they need to go speak with a counselor, a therapist. They need to do the self-work. But I am not everybody's personal healer. What I am is somebody who's learned how to put up a boundary around myself being everyone's personal healer. I know it sucks that they have to like be faced with it again almost immediately. But this is kind of like a chance for Cancerian to test the theory of, have I gone ahead and turned the page? Am I going to do things different? 11 to 8, you're cracking me up. You are fucking fantastic. Sorry, I had to say it that way. You guys are adorable. Thank you for hanging with me. I'm sorry once in a while Pirate Kate comes out. Potty mouth pirate. We've got the Six of Cups. Okay, now Cancerian's ready for the soulmate. Now they are aware of like the single most important thing is, I want a partner who can give to me. I'm not asking for somebody to take care of me, give me the world, do oh so much for me, make me feel good. And they're just supposed to be an energy supply to me. What I'm looking for is somebody who matches my energy. We care about each other mutually. Neither one of us is here to just siphon the energy away from each other, but rather we both bring our best self to the table and together we create. That, I think Cancerian is ready for that. This is who they'll attract from here on out. But let me put it this way. It's not just that this is who they will attract. These soulmates have probably been around Cancerian all this time. But they kept getting, I'm picturing somebody like playing football, and they keep getting tackled and intercepted by the people that are trying to prevent them from getting to the goal, right? The goal is to have an actual soulmate, a real relationship. However, Cancerian's incredible light is very valuable, and a lot of people are going to be hungry for it. People that don't have their own light, people that don't want to do their own work, people that just want Cancerian, you make me feel good. I don't know why, but you have so much niceness in you. I want your niceness. And like Gollum, my precious. But Cancerian has learned to dodge those simply by acknowledging they're not here to give, they're only here to take. I'm not all about that now. So I'm going to sidestep and I'm going to, whatever, what do you call it? Fake to the right, fake to the left. Cancerian it's less about them finally being able to find a soulmate and more about them not being captured by the energy vampires that they previously have been captured by at least once, possibly for quite a while in a long-term commitment, but also someone else that was going to pull the same stunt had Cancerian not been savvy enough to say, no, been down that road. Nope, I'm sidestepping and I'm, only soulmates need apply. So we do have Cancerian headed for a really good relationship, even if they may have to face one more person who could be very reminiscent of the ex. And meanwhile, the ex is still absolutely hovering. That's just the side notes. But to understand why they hover and to understand, well, yeah, because Cancerian's light is, anything that's precious and rare, somebody's always going to want to steal it. I always say it that way. Like, thieves steal diamonds for a reason. The diamonds are valuable. Diamonds don't walk around and feel bad, like, oh, it's so embarrassing, I got stolen. Like, no, diamonds are super, super valuable, and that's what Cancerian is. That's why some of these little energy vampires want them. Cancerian doesn't have to walk around and be like, oh, they're going to cheat on me. It's going to be really sad. I'm going to feel bad about myself. No, you're the freaking diamond. Don't ever feel bad that you got stolen. But hopefully be better at dodging the thieves from here on out. I love the fact that Cancerian is headed into a really amazing relationship. I feel like all of our messages lately have been more about like change, a little bit less about, exes, a little bit more just in the last week about, new love, new this, new that, closing cycles. It's been kind of exciting, I think, but I hope it's because we're in Year of the Snake. You guys, thank you so, so much. You're so awesome. I love hanging out with you guys. Sun Soul, I know, dodging flares left and right. Queen V, so good to see you, sweetie. Thank you for being here. And 11 to 8, thank you again and again. Side shimmy crab walking. Thank you so much. Yes, Sun Soul, I agree with you. Yeah. EM Bell, great to catch you tonight. Decoded, thank you again, sweetheart. You think Cancerian finally gets a reality check for themselves, being emotional sign and letting it ride their life? I love Cancerians. I'm strong Virgo, and I have overwhelmingly always had Cancerians in my life. Cancerians, also some Aquarians and some Pisces and a Taurus thrown in there too that are really near and dear to me. But Cancerians have been like the zodiac that I have most connected to, and I always think it's because I love that that emotional side of Cancerians. I think that they're so beautiful. Hi Lulu, Emma-Lisa, hey. Iscus SW, good to see you. Little Miss Cancer. Krabby Girl 76, Monkey Experiment, great to see you guys. I love it, Decoded. Oh my God, 11-8, you're hilarious. Big Sexy, nice to catch you. Thanks again, Nikki O. So good to see you, love. Zoe's in the house. Hi, honey. All right, you guys, take care. I'm going to go ahead and do one other storyline on this channel this evening. I'll probably do it. Well, let's see. I'll probably do it right now. Temmie Secord, good to see you. All right, so I'll see you guys in just a minute. Lots of love. Thanks, Cancerians.